Greetings, beloved. Welcome back to my YouTube channel, Creme Constellation, where I use astrology as a tool for gaining clarity and awareness. And today, I would like to bring to your awareness the Uranus in Gemini transit. Uranus will be re-entering the sign of Gemini on the 25th of April in 2026, and this transit will go on till about 2032, 2033, give or take the retrogrades. Okay, so by now you've already seen hundreds of videos about Uranus in Gemini and what this energy may be coming with over the next 7 years, which house it'll be impacting for you according to your rising sign and whole sign houses, which is all great. Keep that information as reference because it'll be very important in navigating this energy for the next 7 years. And shout out to the astrologers out there keeping us informed. So what I would like to do is add to that information package by bringing this transit closer to home for you and focus in on your planets and whether or not you're having challenging or positive aspects to this 7-year long astrological event. So the reason why I'm focusing in on the planets more is because I'm meeting a lot of people who are interested in astrology. However, they don't know what time they were born and thus they can't generate a birth chart. While if you are one of those people or you know someone like that, they can still interact with astrology even without a birth chart. And here's how you do it. You can Google or search the planetary alignment of your date of birth. That should give you the placements or the positions of the planets among the different zodiac signs. And then from there, you can track or you can navigate your astrology by aspect instead of by houses. All right, so the only thing that's going to be missing for you if you don't have a time of birth is the house placement, but you will still have the zodiac sign placements, which means you can use astrological aspects to get an idea of what you may experience with a particular transit. So I hope you do use that. But if you don't know how to figure this out, you don't know what that looks like, here's a quick example. Exhibit A is an example of a full birth chart or natal chart, if you will, because we have the person's time of birth as well as the city of birth. Then Exhibit B is an example of the planetary placements by zodiac sign only because we do not have the time of birth and thus the chart cannot be divided into 12 houses. So for this person, these are the zodiac signs that the planets were in on the day and the year that they were born. So if you don't know how to access this information on your own, my contact methods are listed in the description below. I could get this information for you free of charge, or you can just get it yourself by Googling it or working with different websites. These two charts are generated through astroseek.com if you're interested. So from here, you can follow along in the video to see how you may be aspected by current Uranus moving through the sign of Gemini. Before I get into the actual aspects that Uranus in Gemini will be making to your personal placements, I first want to bring you into awareness of the potency of an aspect. So the potency of an aspect is felt when the transiting planet is within a tight or close orb to the planet that is being aspected. When the planets like Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto, these are the outer planets, are aspecting your personal placements or your personal planets, then the effects may not be as obvious at first, right? They play out over an extended period of time. So you could be feeling or noticing, witnessing the effects of that transit either a year or 2 or 3 prior, or a year or 2 or 3 after the aspect has come exact to your personal degrees. And another, perhaps even more important thing to be aware of is that when these transiting outer planets, being Neptune, Uranus, and Pluto, are making an aspect to your personal placements, these effects are life altering. This is the you will never be the same again kind of effect on your life, all right? Whichever one of these three planets is aspecting your personal placements, it'll likely never aspect that placement again in the exact same way. So it is a big deal. It is life altering to have any one of these outer planets making aspects to your personal placements. Like those of us who are experiencing Uranus in Gemini now probably weren't alive when Uranus was in Gemini before, and it's highly likely that we will not live long enough to see Uranus be in Gemini again after these 7 years. It's going to take years for Uranus to return to the sign. I'm talking decades. All right, so it is a once in a lifetime experience. But anyway, let's get back to the business at hand. Let's look at the aspects that transiting Uranus could be making to your personal placement. So you do need to have your chart in front of you from this point forward. And if you have any questions, you are more than welcome to leave them in the comment section. If you would like a more private interpretation, my contact methods are listed in the description below. I look forward to hearing from you. And if you would like to share some of the experiences that you've already had, because remember, Uranus entered Gemini last year in 2025. So maybe some of you have already noticed some of the shifts that are happening and what may likely transpire over the next 7 years. I don't know, but I look forward to hearing from you. Anyway, let's get into the first planet, starting off with the sun. So if you have the sun in Gemini, Aries or Leo, Pisces or Virgo, Aquarius or Libra, and Sagittarius, then you may experience any one of these. You may go through a challenging period of resistance where instead of accomplishing or attaining the freedom to express yourself like you want to, you may find yourself instead constantly in a battle of proving yourself and defending your renewing identity. It feels like a battle because you're not actually making lasting changes. You're just taking big risks in an attempt to prove to yourself and others that you're different. So it really starts to get better when you release the need to prove and you focus on being present with the change. And because this is Gemini influenced, I would suggest that you remain flexible with where the changes and the unexpected events are taking you. And another potential experience with the sun is that you may develop a restless spirit in which you rebel against spaces or relationships that try to keep you the same, that are rejecting or are oppressing your evolution. Another experience is the questioning of how fulfilled or truly happy you are with yourself or the life that you are currently living. Do you feel free? Do you feel liberated? Do you feel more like yourself? Or have you chosen activities or are surrounded by things that are keeping you small and imprisoned in a way of life that doesn't satisfy you, that doesn't reflect you, and is not a true representative of your creative expression? If you are one of the people who isn't happy with the way that your life is going, do be careful of making hasty decisions because you might wind up regretting them. All right. Make sure that you have thought things through before you actually take any actions to change your life. And for others of you, Uranus aspecting your sun may bring about opportunities that lead to unimagined experiences and a stepping out of your comfort zone. All right, you may be finding unexpected ways to express yourself, or maybe you're finding a new way to do an old thing, right? You're innovating, which is what Uranus is all about. This could be a time where you are attaining more freedom and it seems to come easier and easier as you go. And situations just seem to unexpectedly play out in your favor. So, depending on how the rest of your astrology looks, that'll determine the likely experiences that you may have. And in addition to all of this, if you have access to a full birth chart, check the house that is ruled by Leo. That area of life will either be positively impacted or impacted in a challenging way, depending on the nature of the aspect that Uranus is making to your sun. Next up is the moon. If you have the moon in Gemini, Aries or Leo, Pisces or Virgo, Aquarius or Libra, and the sign of Sagittarius, then you might experience any one of these. Sudden changes with your mood. At some point, you may find yourself being highly emotionally reactive to situations or people. You may be more impulsive than usual, and you may develop sudden infatuations to people or things that can actually lead you astray. So, emotional regulation is very important for you, and you'll want to teach yourself how to become emotionally self aware so that the emotions don't make the decisions for you. You may also notice a surge in emotional desires and needs that are associated with the unconventional, the futuristic, and the bizarre. You suddenly have this urge to follow your heart and you're willing to risk it all. And that might not necessarily be a bad thing because there could be some events that lead to unexpected emotional fulfillment or pleasant surprises. Just make sure that the risks you are taking are calculated. Remember, don't let your emotions call the shots. Use your mind as well. Let them work together. And there can also be emotionally significant people or situations that are resurfacing or coming back into your life unexpectedly in order to contribute to your awakening. And then for others of you, there may be sudden, unexpected, significant events that are taking place involving the mother or a mother maternal like figure. And in addition to all of this, if you have access to a full birth chart, check the house that is ruled by the sign of Cancer because it will be impacted either positively or in a challenging way according to the nature of the aspect that Uranus is making to your moon. Next up, we have Mercury. If you have Mercury in Gemini, Aries or Leo, Pisces or Virgo, Aquarius or Libra, and the sign of Sagittarius, then you may experience any one of these. You may experience yourself having innovative ideas for solving old unsolved problems. You're having the kinds of ideas that lead to breakthroughs. You're experiencing a change in mindset and perception of things. I must say that this aspect can actually increase your interest in conspiracy theories if you're not already interested in them. The communications around you are getting weirder. You may even notice that you're receiving unexpected news or information, and the details of it are just a little bit strange, a little bit, how did we get from here to there? And you may also find yourself thinking and talking a lot more about the future or your personal future. You may also experience unexpected learning opportunities coming your way. However, there could also be disruptions to the learning process, like your attention needing to be on duties, tasks, and responsibilities, or maybe there are some financial situations that are a disruption to your learning. Or perhaps you keep changing your mind, right? You have many curiosities and many interests, and it might be difficult for you to stay interested in one topic or one subject of learning. Others of you may notice a greater usage or a daily reliance on technology in your life. In other instances, there could be significant community or neighborhood changes happening around you. And this can also manifest disruptions to short trips that you are taking or even to your daily routines, how you manage your daily life. And in addition to all of that, if you have access to a full birth chart, check to see the houses that are ruled by Gemini and Virgo because they will either be positively impacted or impacted in a challenging way, depending on the nature of the aspect that Uranus is making to your Mercury. Up next, we have Venus. So if you have your Venus in Gemini, Aries or Leo, Pisces or Virgo, Aquarius or Libra, and the sign of Sagittarius, then you may experience any one of these. You may notice sudden endings or beginnings in the realm of relationships and friendships. You may be meeting a lot of new people around this time and potentially having people from the past coming back into your life. And also, you're meeting people from different cultures and different backgrounds. You could also notice that there are unexpected events or sudden breakthroughs happening in the lives of those around you, especially those that you are close to one on one. This aspect can also manifest chaotic or disruptive situations that involve possessions, assets, or material ownership and money. And there could also be negotiations, contracts, or agreements suddenly coming together in your favor, or an agreement that was once not in your favor suddenly coming to an end. Some of you may be experiencing frustrating legal battles that are affecting your emancipation and your freedom. And also, with this aspect, you're finding innovative ways to use your talents. You're valuing the unconventional more and more. And you're awakening to a self-worth, a self-love, and self-appreciation that you've never really had before. This aspect can also manifest experiences of sudden windfall of money or suddenly receiving employment opportunities or a change in livelihood. And in addition to that, if you have access to a full birth chart, check the houses that are ruled by Libra and Taurus, because those houses will either be positively impacted or impacted in a challenging way according to the nature of the aspect that Uranus is making to your Venus. Up next is Mars. So if you have Mars in Gemini, Aries or Leo, Pisces or Virgo, Aquarius or Libra, and the sign of Sagittarius, then you may experience any one of these. So there could be fluctuating progress being made in the direction of your personal goals or your hopes and dreams. And within these 7 years, you may be motivated to stand out and take risks. However, you may notice that there are energy and motivation inconsistencies, whereas suddenly you're interested in doing something and you're full steam ahead, and then all of a sudden you're no longer interested and you're putting something to an end. You may also find yourselves in situations where there are circumstances that suddenly push you to do something on your own, or circumstances that lead to you suddenly having to start taking action in a particular direction. With this aspect, you may suddenly or unexpectedly be thrust into leadership positions. You'll develop a stronger drive to rebel against restrictive situations or people. It's giving the energy of a freedom fighter, someone who is for the rights of others, who is driven by liberating not only themselves but others as well. And this could definitely lead to you having unexpected conflicts with people you'd never expected to have conflicts with. And also, please make a note that this Uranus-Mars aspect is one that is prone to injury or accident. So please do be careful if you are working with heavy or sharp machinery. And those of you who are driving regularly on the roads or constantly traveling, please do be alert and make sure that your cars are up to standard and that you're following the necessary rules and regulations of traveling safely. And in addition to that, if you have access to a full birth chart, check to see the houses that are ruled by Aries and Scorpio, because those houses will either be positively impacted or impacted in a challenging way, depending on the nature of the aspect that Uranus is making to your Mars. Up next, we have Jupiter. If you have Jupiter in Gemini, Aries or Leo, Pisces or Virgo, Aquarius or Libra, or the sign of Sagittarius, then you might experience any one of these. So you are the ones that really need to buckle up because the expansion of your horizons is really coming in the most unexpected ways. You may be experiencing major life-changing awakenings and wisdom. This is a time of spiritual evolution for you. You're aligning yourself more with an unconventional way of life or unconventional philosophies, and you're drawn to unconventional teachings about life itself and spirituality. And you may see yourself going from student to teacher of this new wisdom that you are now finding. And throughout these 7 years, your enthusiasm and optimism about life may be subject to fluctuations, whereby in some moments you love life, you want to live it to the fullest, and in other moments you're having an existential crisis. And with this aspect, some of you are subject to sudden abundance of money. It can be an abundance of wealth in knowledge, or perhaps sudden fame. And on the more negative side of it, it could be that you are gaining excess in something undesired. Maybe it's the expansion of a particular problem that needs solving, or getting attention for something that you don't really want attention for. You don't really want it to be public knowledge. And for those of you who will be doing long distance traveling within these 7 years, some of you may have some chaotic experiences within the traveling sector. So make sure that you plan in advance and you are prepared for anything. And in addition to that, if you have access to a full birth chart, check to see the houses that are ruled by Sagittarius and Pisces, because those areas of life may be positively impacted or impacted in a challenging way, depending on the nature of the aspect that Uranus is making to your Jupiter. Up next, we have Saturn. So if you have Saturn in Gemini, Aries or Leo, Pisces or Virgo, Aquarius or Libra, or the sign of Sagittarius, then you may experience any one of these. So for you, it may seem like responsibility and obligation are suddenly dominating your life. And as a result, this may increase feelings of restlessness and rebellion against traditional roles and norms, authority figures, as well as following the rules or the law. Please, please, please do not do anything that could potentially land you behind bars, because this is the aspect that can take it there. All right. So don't test this energy. You must find innovative ways to break free and honor your unique path. You are the ones who are innovating the way that you build structure or long-lasting accomplishments, either in your life in general or in your career specifically. For some of you, circumstances may manifest wherein you feel like you're being pushed out of traditional roles, or you're being pushed out of a comfort zone, and there is a need for you to innovate, whether you like it or not. Whereas others of you may be finally breaking free from a long lasting restriction, something that has had a hold on you for many, many years. Somewhere within these 7 years, you are finally breaking free. The challenge is complete. Congratulations. You have learned whatever it is that this thing has karmically brought into your life for you to learn. And finally, this aspect can also manifest unexpected events or situations involving the father or male figures in your life. So, in addition to that, if you have access to a full birth chart, check to see the houses that are ruled by Saturn and by Aquarius. Those houses will either be positively impacted or impacted in a challenging way, depending on the nature of the aspect that Uranus is making to your Saturn. All right, so I am going to leave this video here. Thank you for sticking with me up till this point. And yes, I have not mentioned the aspects that transiting Uranus will be making to your natal Uranus, Neptune, or Pluto. There is a reason for that. However, if you do have any questions about those planets, you're more than welcome to leave those questions in the comment section and I will get back to you swiftly. Now, if you would like to discuss this further or you would like a personal interpretation, my contact methods are listed in the description. And on my end, I would appreciate a like or a comment if you found any of this information helpful. That helps me and the algorithm as well. So I would really appreciate that. But other than that, thank you so much for watching, and I will catch up with you soon.